Are you loving the First Class Live show? Then join our private Patreon community. Not only will you help to support our ability to provide you with great content, but you can also get exclusive perks like bonus videos and resources, discounts, episode transcripts, and more. So what are you waiting for? Join today at patreon.com/First Class Life. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/First Class Life. Say is the biggest lesson that you're thankful for?
The biggest lesson I'm thankful for is my failures. There's things that behind the scenes that have happened, and I'm thankful that I've went through that, because if I've never failed, I wouldn't know what to expect, and I wouldn't, especially with business, like there's just so many things that factor into running a successful business. And I'm just thankful for just the failures I've had, because I've learned from them, and now I've had processes in place so that it won't happen again. So
now you're gonna have to share one of those failures with us. Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, give us your most memorable fail and how you overcame it.
Oh my gosh, this one actually put me on in almost like a depressive state.
You're listening to the First Class Life show, hosted by Lindsey Vertner, a holistic personal development show for high-achieving leaders who desire to maximize their impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. So grab a drink, grab your notebook, and let's get started. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the First Class Life podcast. This is your personal development show because you desire to maximize your impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. Today, I have the wonderful, amazing Vaughn Watts with me. I'm so excited that she's here. We're going to hop right into the conversation. Hey, Vaughn.
Hey, Lindsey. I'm excited.
How have you been?
Pretty good. Yes. I am excited. So I've been great.
Listen, before we talk about anything, we need to acknowledge that on the day of this recording, it is your birthday.
Yes, I am so thankful. The big 39.
Like, I need for all the listeners to join in with the ethnic version of Happy Birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate it to the fullest.
Yes, absolutely. Now, okay. All right. I know who you are, but I need for you to tell the lovely listeners and viewers, who is Vaughn really? Like, take us back, peel back the curtains, let us know, who are you, girl?
Oh, who is Vaughn Watts? I ask myself that question on a daily basis. Who is Vaughn Watts? But I am a lover of food. I am a goofy person. I am very laid back, extremely introverted. I love to game. I am an extremely creative person, into the arts, in terms of, the graphic design side of things. I love the artistic side of things too, but I've kind of gotten away from it. I need to get back to it. But very laid back person. That's who I am. And yeah. And your normal, loving, kindly. Long walks. I like long walks on the beach. So
back massages.
Right.
So listen, we're gonna have to talk about food during this episode because as a first class leader, we are not picky eaters. Okay,
nope.
We like to indulge in the delicacies of cultures, and
I love food.
But before we talk about food, and I am hungry, so I'm going to do my best to not make the whole episode be about food. But I noticed that you mentioned you are a gamer. And so have you always been a gamer since you were a child?
Yes, I've always, being an 80s kid, you had to have the Nintendo. So I grew up with the Nintendo, and I've always loved playing games. Here recently, I actually got into streaming my games. Actually, when the pandemic happened is when I really got into the streaming side of things. But I love first person shooter games. I love anything Mario, Super Mario, Nintendo, Street Fighter. Um, Contra. Contra is one of my favorites. I just bought the 30-year anniversary version of that, so I've been playing all the different variations of it. Even have a Japanese version that I didn't even know of. So, but yeah, I love it.
Oh, well, outside of like the typical basics, I had the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo
Oh yeah,
back in the day.
yeah, the Sega. Yep,
Mhm,
yep. And
Sega.
with the Nintendo Switch now, because the whole Nintendo and Sega war they had going. They was in
Mhm.
competition for a while. Well, now since Sega's out of business, Nintendo kind of got the right licenses to use their stuff. So with the Switch, you can I downloaded the Sega Genesis game. So I've been playing Sonic here lately.
Sonic was my
Yeah.
jam. Super Mario, Sonic.
Yep.
I used to play this game called what was it? It was Earl Pink. There was like a pink
Kirby?
little alien.
Are you talking about Kirby?
What'd you say?
Are you talking about Kirby?
No, it wasn't Kirby. Like one of their names was Earl for sure. Oh, I'm blanking on that. But they were like two. Like one was a skinny alien and one was a fat alien. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've got to think of that name. Oh man, that's gonna bug me. But I brought that up because I know that one, being a gamer, that has its own taboo around it, especially gaming as adults are like, you still playing video games?
Right.
Like, first of all,
like
it can be a way to relax, practice self-care.
Yes.
But I know, because my son is a gamer. My husband, he used to be a heavy gamer, but definitely my son, he is still in that all the time. We probably have all of the game systems in our house. But you being a female gamer, were you ever having any moments where maybe you didn't feel as confident or you kind of felt like the outcast?
Oh, nope. And one thing about me is I don't really, the outside comments bother me. Even if that feeling was there, it just never, I never thought that way. Like I grew up playing games. All my, my cousins with a Nintendo, some of my older cousins, you had to take turns. So I would wait in line for my turn, to play if it ever came. But I've never felt like an outcast when it came to gaming until I got into these new games, especially like Call of Duty. I'm like, what is this? It took me a minute to get used to that because I was used to the old school games. So,
well, that is good because I feel like female gamers are a minority in the gaming world.
Yep.
And so for you to hop right in there and do your thing.
Yep.
That is awesome.
And I think too, the community, especially the Facebook community, embraces it a lot. The female gaming side of things, they have a whole like community of like game hers, and black gamers. So it's like, yeah. So with social media today, like things like that, like they start embracing it. So I'm like, that's why I felt, especially with the newer games, I felt comfortable because I found this community like, oh. Like, okay, this is like, and the community, the gaming community is so like welcoming, especially the female side of things. Sometimes the males, they get a little, they're very competitive. So, even the little kids, when you playing Call of Duty live, you hear the little kids like, oh my gosh.
Like, I have heard my son. My son is an introvert. And sometimes you'll hear these noises and these words and these complete paragraphs, and it's like, who is that talking? Yep. My son in his bedroom hollering at his gaming friend.
Yep. So it's a completely different generation now, where I think social media and with the especially with Facebook has a thing with making everybody feel welcome in their community. So
Well, look at this because I found it. Toe Jam and Earl.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yep,
That
I
used
was
to be my ish.
I was playing that on the Switch yesterday. Oh man,
It's on the
yeah.
Switch.
If you
Oh,
download the Sega, so on the Switch you can download the Sega Genesis games. Like I think each week or every other month they release some of like the older games. So I got the Sega Genesis games, the Super Nintendo games, and the old school Nintendo games. It's like a package that you can
listen,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to pull out my son's Switch and pull up Toe Jam and
Yes.
Earl here.
Yes.
Look. So I love that you said that, you didn't let outside comments bother you and things like that. I also know that you've been bullied growing up. So tell us a little bit about that experience and how that started, when you first recognized, like, wait a minute,
So
what's going on here?
man, bullying these kids is crazy. So I didn't really experience bullying until I'm from Florida. Growing up in Florida, I grew up in a small town. I mean, it's real small. You blink, you miss it. It's called Palaca. It's like up north Florida, probably about 20 miles outside of St. Augustine.
Palaca?
Yeah. That's my best friend.
That
My
sounds small.
best friend says it sounds like a disease.
You got that Palaca.
Yeah. But it's for a bigger name, Jacksonville. It's like an hour away from Jacksonville. So just so you can get a sense of where it is in Florida. But when we moved here, when I wasn't quite 11 yet. I was 10. We moved here in January. My birthday is today, so I always say 11 because I was about to be 11. And when I moved here, man, like it was a culture shock. For one, I'm moving from the nice warm weather to in '94. It was a big blizzard when we moved here. We actually had to stay in a hotel for a week in Kentucky because they shut down the highways. We didn't we had to get some shoes because the shoes we had wasn't fit for snow. Even our clothes, like I had on jeans, but they were so thin compared to the jeans I wear now for the winter time. So just moving here, just the whole culture shock was just different. Small town, big city. And when I moved here, now, granted, it was probably out of style, but back home, people still had curls. I had a J curl, and so it was like, it was normal to me. So moving here, I was literally the only person with a curl at school. I talked different. I had a Southern accent. I didn't pronounce my R's. I pronounced everything differently, and so to the kids, like I was an outsider, so I was different. But it took me a minute I really didn't recognize that until I got a little older. What I started doing was hanging with people that accepted me. I didn't for one, it quieted me down because I was a very boisterous kid. I was very talkative, extremely talkative. Like if you look at my report cards, like everything is satisfactory except for she talks too much. She talks too much.
Talks excessively.
Yeah.
I've had an X a time or two in my life. Talks excessively.
Talks too much. But when I moved here and being in school here was a little bit different. That comment changed because then I started getting quiet. So I kind of got more. I think that's where I got more into my introvert mode. That's when I turned to my art. I never knew I could draw until I moved here. So I got into art, got into music. But I would be, well, you know how in school, in elementary, you have to line up. So when we would line up in W's, of course, is at the back. So here I am, everybody else in line, W. No matter what, even if they went backwards, I'm V and W. So you have to walk down the line to get to the back. So as I'm walking down the line, they sing the Juicy Fruit song. So I'm like, and it took me a minute to understand, Juicy Fruit. I've tied it. Oh, my hair. I'm like, oh, these kids is mean. So I just like literally just really hung out with um what people would say now as the weird crowd or the different crowd, um, the outsiders, of the groups and everything, and just
Hmm.
didn't let it bother me. I started People started really wanting to hang with me when they found out that I can play basketball. So that's when
Oh,
now, especially when we had a tournament. I remember we had a tournament in school when the main people that would talk about me wanted me on their team. Like, oh, we can, no, no, even had my homework stolen. I'm like, no, no, I'm good. I'm about to play with old boy right here. We good, you know. So
listen. Oh, kids are crazy,
they
crazy.
are.
Um, So, what did you develop within yourself not to let those comments bother you? Because I know even as adults, it's hard when we hear people talking about it. Some of us can master the ability to not let outside comments or people's opinions affect who we are. But the majority of us,
Hmm.
we don't, and we allow it to, start to inhibit who we are as a person, inhibit our confidence, things like that. So, what did you find in you that allowed you to like block out the
Um,
noise?
I found my group. Like I didn't. I'm like, all right, I know these ain't the kids I would want to hang out with. This is not going to be my crowd. So I literally, I will never forget. I call them the Davenport sisters. So we lived in the same neighborhood and rode the bus together. And so I sat on the bus with one of the youngest of the sisters and the oldest sister. We were in the same class. So she was never one that would pick on me. But I never spoke to her either. So I remember just asking them because since we live around the corner from me, hey, will y'all be my friends? It's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I got friends. So I just like literally just found, um, just found my group and just didn't let the other people like really bother me. And then, like I said, I got into my arts and music. And it really, like I said, it really didn't hit me until I got old, like realized that because I've never experienced bullying. So I didn't really
Mhm.
understand what it was until later on. I'm like, dang, I think I was bullied. I was younger, but the fact that I didn't harp, like I wasn't yearning to hang out with this particular group. I've never been the type. I've always been I think for myself, I've never been the type to, have other people, I've never been a follower, put it that way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
there's not one particular person or group that's going to make me, succumb to, their ideas because they want me to. I'm going to always have a mind of my own. So I think that's what kind of helped me. And then
Mhm.
moving to here, like, I'm like, I don't have no choice but to, you know, be strong, especially, with everything we had going on, just being, because like literally our move wasn't planned. It was like, well, we have to go. So,
Mm. Yes. Now, I definitely want to dive into why you had to go. But before I go that direction, I know that oftentimes we as human beings, we could try to put on these masks and be people that we aren't
mhm.
to please this in crowd or the cool kids, to feel that validation and, people please and all of those things. But part of living your first class life is being authentically who you
Yep.
are, flaws and all, and not allowing other people to change who you are with their expectations of who you should be.
Yep.
And so you were already doing that at a young age. You're like, well, y'all don't like me. I ain't gonna hang with
Mhm.
y'all. Y'all don't like me. I'm about to be on your
Right.
basketball team.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna be me and I'm gonna find people that will accept me for me. And I think that's a very good lesson to learn, especially the younger that you can learn it,
Hmm.
because unfortunately, too many times we are wearing these masks of who we think we should be to please other people, and then we're unfulfilled
Hmm.
at the end of the
Yep.
day.
Yep.
Ooh, yes.
I know.
Now, y'all had to leave unexpectedly.
Yeah. Yes.
Tell us.
like
Tell us
left
about
like a
that.
thief in the night. Well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we ended up having to leave Florida. Domestic violence, like
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. So my mom did what she had to do to protect us, and it was like literally like a last minute, like, hey, this is about to happen. Let's go get our clothes. And literally, we had to have a cop escort us out and everything. That's how bad it had gotten with
Mm-hmm.
the domestic violence. So we moved when we moved here. My now stepfather, he came with us. He told his mom, "Look, mom, I gotta go." And cause him and my mom wasn't married at the time yet, so they was just still dating. But thankful he did come with us, because I used to tell my mom all the time, I don't know how we would have made it up here and all that snow. Cause I couldn't drive then. I was only 10. So I don't know how we would have made it in the snow. But yeah, the domestic violence is literally what drove us out of Florida to here.
Mm-hmm. So from Florida to Indiana due to domestic violence. Now, why did your mother, and she might not have given you this information as a child, but what made her pick Indiana out of all the places? Were there family here? Was just like, I pick here.
Well, we have family here. So my great aunt, who rest in peace, Aunt Babe, she and her and her husband, my Aunt Babe raised my grandmother. So my grandmother, mom died when she was like 5 years old. So my grandmother was raised by her oldest sister, who she saw as her mom. So they lived here, and so we moved up here with them. And so we have I have
Mhm.
a small extended family here, from my aunt, her daughter, and then her daughter and their kids. So that's why we moved here. And it's funny because when they
Okay.
would come and visit us in Florida, we used to always say, we couldn't say, I couldn't say Indianapolis at the time. I said, we want to come to Indianapolis." you know we didn't know nothing outside of Palaca, but we knew Indianapolis. That's the only thing we knew. And that day came. That
Nice.
day came. I'm like, oh, we're really here.
Well, you spoke
Right,
it into
right,
existence one way or
right.
another. Look, and I just had a whole moment because you literally did speak it into
Yep.
existence. I mean, obviously, you didn't have any control over what was going on
hmm
with the adults, but I want to point out the power of our words,
hmm
whether negative or positive, and why it's so important that we are mindful and intentional of the things that we're
Yep.
speaking and the things that we're thinking, because eventually they manifest in one
Yep.
way or
Yep.
another. What would be some things that you say you've spoken into existence outside of moving to
Right.
Minneapolis?
Oh man. One thing I know I feel like I've spoken to existence is that when I used to always say, when I get older, I'm want to be able to buy the things that I couldn't buy when I was younger. We was in poverty. We weren't even considered middle class. So there's a lot of things like um, growing up that I'm like, I wish I could have had, that I'm like, when I get older, I'm gonna do this. Or like, even what my business is now, like I still, I manifest things. I'm extremely like goal oriented, and like, if I want something to happen, I'm gonna speak into existence and make sure I do what I need to do to make it happen. But I just think, just overall, my whole, just the things that where I'm at now, I think I've spoken into existence. Um, I want to, I know we'll get into this later, but even with my entrepreneurship, I was entrepreneur. My entrepreneurship skills started in sixth grade. you know, it was at the time, it was food driven because I wanted extra.
Go ahead and tell us about
it, was,
it.
it was, I was on,
I'm really is proud.
I was on free lunch, and this really happened when I got to middle school. So in Wayne Township, middle school starts at seventh grade, not sixth grade. So when I
Mm-hmm.
got to seventh grade, uh, the food in the cafeteria was completely different than elementary. You had the milkshakes, you had cookies, you had cheese sauce, you had like extra, like I'm like, ooh, and me going through the line, I'm just grabbing like, ooh, get up there to the thing, and they told me a price. I'm like, I'm on free lunch. Well, it's like, oh well, this is where free lunch get. This other stuff you have to pay for. I'm like, oh. I was like, shoot. So I had to put it back. So I'm like, you know what? So I literally started drawing pictures, like little Mickey Mouses, Winnie the Poohs, put little chains on them, holding boom boxes. I started charging some of my classmates for me to draw them pictures for extra lunch money, so I could
Listen, kindred
Yep.
spirits. I feel like the true entrepreneurs that really go hard or go home in their business and build these empires, I feel like that is just a spirit that is within us, because as soon as you said drawing pictures, some of the shenanigans that I had was I used to take a piece of paper and I would just make a doodles, like it might be a smiley face or a heart or, a flower, just little basic doodles, and they would have different prices, 10 cents, a quarter,
Oh wow.
50 cents. The more intricate, it'd be like $1. And then I would take my Crayola markers, shout out to Crayola, feel free to give me an endorsement. But I would take my Crayola markers and then I would draw a tattoo on them.
Oh wow.
Yep.
I'm saying, back. I mean, it really did dawn on me, but I was like, my motivation was I wanted that milkshake, I wanted that cookie, and me and my friend at the time, we would every other like week we would switch off who would buy the extra cheese sauce. And so when I had enough money, I was like, you know what, I got it for the whole month. I was like, I got the cheese sauce for the whole month. We good. So
I love that. Look, just finding your people. I think that is so important as a child, as an adult, just finding your tribe, your community, your sisterhood or your brotherhood, whatever you decide to call it, finding those that appreciate you for who you are without trying to change you.
Yep.
But at the same time, try to grow you into the best version of you. So I do want to make sure that difference is clear.
Yes.
We aren't to just like sit in the bad spaces. I won't say bad, in the negative, less than exemplar pieces of us. We should always be on that path of growth, but the people that genuinely accept you for who you are, but at the same time push you and grow to be better, and then support you equally, like you said, like y'all would take turns, like who's gonna get the extra cheese, like you got it, you got it, I got it. What did it feel to have that support system, especially being in this new place, kind of an outsider from the other kids, not really caring, but having that intimate circle that you could trust and lean on?
It actually felt, good. It just, it kind of confirmed like within me that, I don't have to hang out with a certain crowd to be accepted. There's a crowd for everybody. So, trying to make yourself fit into a crowd that just, especially if it doesn't, resonate with like your own personal values or morals, and I speak because this day and age we have social media. Back then we didn't have social media. When we were growing up, we just had it was more of the in person, like you got your on the bus in the school, if they caught you outside playing type interactions. So just, I don't know, just being able to have those group of, people, and like I said, this is crowd for everybody. I think it just, I don't know. It's just, it made me feel good.
Looking for amazing products to help boost your first class lifestyle? Then head over to firstclasslifeshop.com, where you can treat yourself to personal development books and workbooks, lifestyle affirmation cards, adult coloring books, mugs, notebooks, hoodies, t-shirts, leggings, and more. All products were designed to help you master your mindset, walk in your purpose, and live your first-class life because you deserve it. So treat yourself today at firstclasslifeshop.com. Again, that's firstclasslifeshop.com. Well, listen, I am a firm believer, and the proof is in the pudding, that you are the average sum of the 5 people you hang around with most. So it is very important that we are intentional about who we're hanging out with, because if you're in a group of mean girls, then there's probably a high chance that you're the 6th mean girl, or you're the 6th mean guy. And so, you know, who we're around definitely reflects in how we show up. It reflects in our behaviors. So it's important to be mindful of that.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
I have a game that I would like for us to play if you are down for the cause.
Okay. You know, I love games.
It's called First Class Favorites, okay?
Okay.
And it's real simple. Let me get my phone here. Let me get my phone. Stopwatch. All right. Now we'll put it on timer so we can hear the buzz. All right. So this is how we play First Class Favorites. It's real simple. I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite, fill in the blank, and then you're going to answer.
Okay.
But you got to answer in 10 seconds or less.
Okay.
And that seems like a long time with such simple questions, but when you're up against the clock, our brain does.
I know it does. It's already doing tricky things.
So for anyone that may be listening or watching and you want to make a fun game out of this, I mean, however you choose to do so, you feel free to do that. And if she misses the buzzer, then you either gain a point or you lose a point, or got to take a shot or whatever, you know.
Turn anything into a shot game, boy.
Right?
Sounds like my crew.
We like to have So, I mean, it can be a shot of water.
Right.
Or whiskey. Yeah. You know, whatever your preference.
Capri Sun.
So, we'll start with an easy one. What's your favorite food? Go.
Ooh, shrimp.
Shrimp. See? That was nice and easy.
Well, I was about to name everything.
And I was going to be on you like, nope, you got to name something specific. Okay. What's your favorite color? Go.
Orange.
Ooh, nice and easy. Orange, nice and bright. Makes me think of happiness and, you know, just positivity. All right. What is your favorite song? Go.
Cry for Me by Jodeci.
Oh!
I was trying to.
You almost got it.
Like, it's so many songs, though. Oh my gosh. That one was hard. Cry
for Me by Jodeci. All right. What's your favorite book? Go.
What is the name of Story Brand by Donald Miller?
The Story Brand by Donald Miller. I have that one.
I love it.
Let's see. What is your favorite place to travel? Go.
Florida.
To Palaca?
Yep, to Palaca.
What is your favorite activity to do to relax? Go.
Game.
What's your favorite game?
Right now it's Call of Duty.
Ooh, look, and you got both of those within the 10 seconds because I didn't restart the timer with that.
To be exact, the zombies mode.
Oh, zombies mode. I'm not familiar. I mean, I know what Call of Duty is because it used to get played in my house a long time ago for, you know, long hours at a time. But I never played. What's your favorite drink? Go.
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
I was going to say and sweet tea. I love Pepsi and sweet tea.
Together? You ever had it together?
I've never had it together. I'm going to go with sweet tea. I like them both, but I'm trying to, you know, not drink so much Pepsi.
I wonder what that would taste
I
like.
don't know. It
Sometimes
might not be that bad.
well, you try and let me know. I don't like Pepsi,
I
so
mean,
I'm not
just
gonna
think,
try it. But
just think of it. Well, no, you can't think of it that way. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to try it.
because sometimes I put I add Sprite to my sweet tea. So
I've never even had Sprite in my sweet tea. That's
mm-hmm.
different.
Or you take an Arnold
Yeah,
Palmer. For those that are unfamiliar
yeah,
with an Arnold Palmer, that's half
lemonade and have
lemonade,
tea.
half sweet
Yep.
tea. Or you take one of those and add some
Yeah,
Sprite.
I can see that. I can see it.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for playing First Class Favorites. And listen, you are officially added to our First Class Favorites list because a few of those answers, we have an ongoing running list curated by all of our phenomenal guests here on the First Class Life podcast. So, favorite books, favorite song, place to travel, and activity to relax.
Okay.
Yes, we've collected it. So if
Ooh.
you are a member of our Patreon community, you have access to that list. And if you're not a member of our Patreon community, then you better join today. Just click the button wherever it is. Join and become an official member of the First Class Life community, and you will have access to bonus footage, including our First Class Favorites. Like I said, a list curated specifically by all of our phenomenal guests here on the First Class Life podcast. So, Now, speaking of First Class Life, for those that are unaware, it is an acronym that stands for all of the different characteristics and skills that you want to try to embody into your lifestyle. The more that you can master, then the better quality of life you are creating for yourself. You're creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. And if you don't know what First Class Life stands for, then I urge you to go listen to the very first episode of the First Class Life podcast, or you can visit firstclasslifeshop.com and purchase the book, First Class Life, 10 Key Factors to Creating a Life Full of Purpose, Fulfillment, and Happiness. So do one of those two things. But meanwhile, our lovely guest is going to share with us, which factor do you feel that you resonate with the most?
I would say thankful. Just because throughout my whole just journey, I've always just been thankful just for the process, for the ups, for the downs. I'm just thankful. Like even at the place I am now, I'm thankful. I have no complaints.
Yes, yeah. So the T in first stands for thankful. And it's important that we do exhibit gratitude whenever we can, because that gives us more to be thankful for. Like what we focus on, we attract more of into our lives. And so when we are thankful for what we do have, then we get more to be thankful for. And at the same time, we can be thankful for what we don't have as well, because, you know, everything that glitters ain't gold, okay? So you might be thankful, like, ooh, I'm thankful that that didn't happen to me. It could have, but it didn't. So just finding the gratitude and, you know, the thankfulness, that thankful spirit in however you can, in whatever situation may arise. So I like that. I like that. What would you say is the biggest lesson that you're thankful for?
The biggest lesson I'm thankful for is my failures. There's things that behind the scenes that have happened, and I'm thankful that I've went through that, because if I've never failed, I wouldn't know what to expect, and I wouldn't, you know, especially with business, like there's just so many things that factor into running a successful business, and I'm just thankful for just the failures I've had, because I've learned from them, and now I've had processes in place so that it won't happen again. So
now you know you're gonna have to share one of those failures with us now, right?
yeah.
Go ahead,
Right,
give us your most memorable fail and how you overcame it.
Oh my gosh, this one actually put me on in almost like a depressive state. I when I first, I ain't gonna say first, it's my second time deciding to take the leap of faith and leave the corporate world. and just do my business full time. I had this, what I thought was a client, but he was actually a scammer. And so I
Mm.
worked with him, like got all of his branding done and everything. And at that time, I didn't have the right processes in place in terms of how I collect my payment. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was a part of this network that this is where I met him at. I was a part of this network is where you like barter services, but him, we did this. We didn't conduct business through this network. We conducted it outside of the network, and so yeah, I didn't collect a deposit. I did the work, and yeah, he was, and come to find out, looked up the guy. The guy's like he's like a national scale. Like he's wanted. I'm like, because the name he gave me wasn't even his real name, so I wouldn't have never known. When
Mm.
he slipped up one time on a call and gave me his real name, and so I was like, ooh. So that's when I started kind of looking into things, and then also what gave a red flag was he sent over one of his company's sales decks and the employees, and I'm looking like these people look famous. Like, look, I know these people. I've seen these people before. Ain't no way these people are on your team. It was like Don Pepper or something. I'm like, I ain't hear author or something. I'm like the people. I'm like, he ain't even trying to hide it. And so that's when I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it was like, and like literally how we worked it out, because he was supposed to be a retainer client, and like I kind of worked out the monthly income to kind of offset certain things. And so it was like a punch in the gut, because now here I am, all right, I'm back at square one, no job, and now I
Mm-hmm.
got to figure something out. But my wife helped me get through that, like was by my side the whole time. Helped me get through that, and once I kind of came to, I'm like, all right, let me get back to work. Got some, like literally set up a
Mm-hmm.
whole, like literally went back and just did some market planning and put things in place, especially on the payment side of things. So that will never ever in life happen again, ever in life happen. Oh
Yeah. I mean, those are the ones
yeah,
that really
and
give
it
you.
happened the day before my birthday.
Oh!
It was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, about 4 years ago. Yeah. So
Hmm.
it was,
But kudos to you for like pushing
yeah.
through and getting up and reassessing like, okay, what can I do
Hmm.
differently so that this doesn't happen again? Because for some people it's like, oh well, guess that means it's I need to go back to work and do something
Yep.
else, and they will use that as an excuse to give up. But whenever you want something, you have to put
Yep.
in the work and go after
Yep.
it, and realize that obstacles are going to come
Hmm.
in different forms, different shapes, but you have to learn the lesson and then readjust and move forward and keep going. So thank you for
Yo, you're
sharing.
welcome.
Yes, yes, yes. And so tell us, how did you get into what it is that you do today? Tell us what you do and how you got into doing that.
Okay, so I am the creative strategist uh, behind 8393 Creative. So we are a digital marketing and creative studio. We Our tagline is "Yep, we design," but we help brand and market small to mid-sized businesses. We have a focus on brand strategy, web design, um, social media marketing, and management, and just overall just digital marketing in general. We help with market planning. Um, and we do a little bit of video work too. All of that is wrapped up in our brand strategy. Depending on the outcome of the strategy, we'll put a brand identity in place along with a website. You have your logo, all your stationery, all your brand touch points and things. And with the marketing, if anyone's in need of like marketing services, we have social media marketing and management plans for, we have some clients that all they need is a plan. We'll help them develop a plan and give them the tools to execute it. And then we have a couple where, hey, they want the plan, but they want us to execute it too. So that's where we are with 8393 Creative.
And how'd you get into that line of work? I know you said you didn't even know you could draw.
So I got into it.
Age.
Yeah, so I got into it, like I was introduced to graphic design in middle school. So I've always been into art, and then I got introduced to graphic design in middle school, and never realized there was a difference between art and graphic design. You got art, it's more of a personal creative expression. You got graphic design, you're communicating that message, to a certain particular audience. And so I like that. I'm like, oh, this is neat. Like, I think I love the program side of things, just working with, back in the day, it was PageMaker. Now it's Illustrator, working in Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign. I just love working with the software and just being able to come up with creative ways for clients to promote their product or promote their business. It's just, I don't know, I just find it intriguing, and I always have a thought process whenever I take on a client, like their business becomes my business. So I literally put myself like, all right, this is my business now. So I think the process my creative process, and what makes me a little bit different from other people is like, if you're working with us, then hey, I'm an extension of your creative team. So it's like we started the business together, and I think that's what helps me too in the creative process is go into it as if it's my business, and so I'm gonna put my all into it because I put my all into my business. So I'm gonna put my all into it. But that's like what got me started is that in middle school, I stuck with it, and then after high school, I went to school. I actually went to school for at Ivy Tech for visual communications. I only stayed a year though and left because I like the idea of making money. But I came back to it and went to the Art Institute and got my degree in graphic design.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think that's a good point though about, sometimes we have to pivot and it's never too late to return to an old dream.
Right. Yeah, that's literally, I was 10 years deep into the company I was at. I was like, hey, I like literally, and like I said, I'm a go-getter. So I really wanted to do design. I like inserted myself. I was a operations supervisor, but I reached out to the marketing department. Was like, hey, like I really like I want to. If y'all got any work, like extra work, like I wanted to like really take on some projects from them, just so I can get some experience because I was still in college too. But I want to get that experience for my portfolio. And what better way to do it than with a company you're already with? And so I was extended the opportunity to, while I was still doing my main job, I helped out the marketing department with some of the overflow graphic design work that they had.
So question, did you do that free of charge or did they pay you for
It was free of charge. I just, hey, we already paying you a salary because I was a salaried employee. So they didn't add, I didn't expect them to add nothing.
I understand. And I think that's a key thing to point out to people is because, sometimes when we're going after our passion, we got to put in a little a freebie work. Now, I'm not saying don't charge the value and all of that stuff. But when you're just getting started, getting that experience, whether you get paid for it or not, that can make all the difference in the world because people want to see that you're able to deliver what you're saying you're going to do. And so I think that's a common misconception, especially in today's world where everybody's like, oh, I want to charge premium rates right off the top. And it's like, we're First of all, you ain't got premium rates quality,
Right.
but that's a whole nother lesson.
It is. Yeah,
Getting your foot in the door however you can.
yeah, and that was like literally what was on my mind. I just wanted the experience. I wanted a portfolio piece to say I'm working with a Fortune 500 company, because it was a Fortune 500 company I worked with. So, and I have those pieces in my portfolio today. So I'm like, this is what I did before I even graduated. Before I even started my business. This is the work I've done. So.
And you're able to add it to your resume, doing that groundwork, that footwork. What's the saying, like pulling up your bootstraps? I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Getting down and doing the nitty gritty, and really building it. Sometimes we have to make those sacrifices as the first steps in getting to where we want to be, and just doing that service work.
Yeah.
So I love that you said that. Well, my darling dearest, tell the folks how they can reach out to you, how they can connect with you if they want some media design services. Give us all the info.
All right, so you can visit us online at 8393creative.com. We have at the top of the website, it's a start your project form. Feel free to browse to the website, check out our case studies, our free we have a lot of free resources on there where, we love to answer, like solve pain point problems that you have and see if you can do it on your own before you reach out to us. So visit our, free resources tab, download any free checklists we have, branding checklists, web design checklists, and all that stuff. But hey, I don't have the time to do it on my own. Make sure you hit that start your project and fill it out, and someone on our team will get back with you. And for those that have kids, we actually 8393, we have a nonprofit as an extension of the company. It's called the Yep We Design Foundation, where we impact and empower youth through creativity, character building, and entrepreneurship. So we're going to be starting programming this summer. And we're doing a Dare to Be You camp where we're teaching kids personal branding through graphic design, and creativity and graphic design. So that's going to be more information to come. That's Yep We Design Foundation, yepwedesign.com, .org. I'm sorry, yepwedesign.org is the website. So.
Nice. I like that. And don't worry, y'all. All of that info will be right in the show notes, so you can find it in the description. And so it'll be there for you. And with that, I want to thank you for being an amazing guest on the First Class Life podcast. And thank you for tuning in at home. I know you could be doing anything in the world, but you are right here with us, and I truly appreciate that. So you high achieving leader, you first class leader, you go out and you have an amazing, abundant day. And don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon community, where you can have bonus footage and bonus resources, all as a special thank you for being a part of the First Class Life community. With that said, I will see you later. Until next time, bye. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. But please be sure to subscribe to the First Class Life Show. And don't forget to rate, leave a review, and join our private community so that we can continue to provide you with great personal development conversations to help you maximize your impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. You deserve it. Do you want to be surrounded by other high-achieving women who are working on their goals just like you? Are you looking for your circle that's passionate about their own growth yet still wants to see you shine? Do you desire to be supported through collaborations and connections instead of competition? Then Cowork and Chill is your place to be. Cowork and Chill is a hybrid of virtual co-working and virtual networking. It's a community of women who are striving to build living legacies. This is the space to create meaningful relationships with other equally yoked women, where you're being poured into just as much as you pour out. So if you're looking for your crew for supportive accountability, then sign up today at coworkandchill.com. That's COWORKANDCHILL, coworkandchill.com.